Hey everyone, my name is Busi Lethole and I am from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I am so glad to be here today. So yeah, I'm glad to be talking to you guys today. So I am a social media manager for a news organization in South Africa by the name of ENCA News, and I do a bit of mobile journalism on the side. And I'm just so happy and so excited to be a part of the SDG goals campaign. So today, so first things first, I really hope that you guys share my video with your friends and family so that they can, be part of the conversation of sustainable development goals. So as we know, the UN has 17 sustainable development goals to transform our world. As we know, our world is in a crisis. So we need these goals. These goals were actually introduced to us, to the world, 2 years ago. So the goal that I will be focusing on today is the number 12 goal, ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. So the UN basically describes it as promoting resource and energy efficiency, sustainable infrastructure, and providing access to basic services, green and decent jobs, and a better quality of life for all. I mean, we all want, an amazing quality of life. So through these goals, that could be achievable. So sustainable consumption is basically about, so it aims at doing more and doing better with less. So it's basically increasing net welfare gains from economic activities by reducing resource use and basically reducing pollution, and while increasing the quality of life of people. So for this goal to succeed, the participation of businesses and consumers, policymakers, researchers, scientists, retailers, the media, etc. is extremely, extremely important. And the participation of you and I, because it can't just be, just the retailers and the researchers. You and I have to be involved. We have to start the conversation. And by doing that, we can encourage everyone around us to make an impact. So it also requires a systemic approach and cooperation from those in the supply chain. So that is the producers and the consumers. And so basically we have to engage with our consumers, and we do this through awareness. We do this with educating consumers about, production, about how to be a responsible consumer. We have to do this through education. So the story that I did a story on an amazing initiative in South Africa by the name of Joburg City Cleanup. So they partnered with an organization by the name of Waste Plan, and what they are doing is trying to change the perception of recycling. And basically what they're doing is they're going out into the streets of Johannesburg and they're cleaning up the streets, but they are taking the waste and they're transforming it, they're changing it into school desks for kids so that they can contribute to their schooling system. So when I think of sustainable production and consumption, with my story, the focus was waste management. How can we use waste management to ensure responsible consumption, to ensure responsible production? So that's what Johannesburg City Cleanup, the initiative, that's what it does. It basically, as I said, it goes out, it through waste management, it goes out and it takes the waste and it collects it and it transforms it. But not only that, it invites the entire community. So it invites South Africans all over the place to join in so that they can see that, wow, okay, a simple thing like a straw. When you have a straw, you don't actually think of how destructive a straw is, but it is destructive. It is destructive. Simple things like that things like education, because it really is educating you yourself as a consumer, the responsibility that you have. So I'm going to be talking about the three, I call them the three R's, the triple R's. So that's basically reducing, reusing, and recycling. I'm going to talk about reducing. So when I talk of reducing, I'm talking about using less. So remember what I said earlier on, it's basically doing better with less. So when you reduce, you're using less, you're buying less of what you have. And by doing that, the production of those products will reduce because of you using less of, whatever it is that you're using. So another example, turning off lights, that saves energy. So by doing less, you save more for the environment. Taking shorter showers, for example, that also saves water. So when I'm thinking of waste management, as consumers, we need to think about, okay, we need to use less things like straws, for example, right? If you and I decide, okay, we're not going to be using straws anymore, the production, the demand for those straws is going to reduce. So that's the first thing, reducing. The second thing is reusing what we have. So whatever products that you've bought, or whatever it is that you're using, instead of just using it for a short amount of time, we need to reuse it. We need to think about how we are contributing to the demise really of the environment. So reusing things more than once, that helps. And recycling, the third R is recycling. Recycling is extremely important, but we should know this, but we don't act like we know it, which is sad. But yes, recycling, basically separating our waste, right? We separate the materials that we're using so that recyclable products can be transformed into something new. Exactly like what Johannesburg City Cleanup is doing. They're taking their waste and they're recycling it to school desks for kids in South Africa, which is amazing. So we need to really think about how we are reducing, recycling, and reusing the materials and the products that we use, because that will change how businesses and manufacturers are manufacturing their products. So it starts with us, basically. That's what I'm saying. It starts with you and I. It doesn't start with companies, changing how they, no. It starts with you and I, because they're going to stop if the demand of those products stop. Another thing that I want to talk about basically is consumer education. It's very important to educate ourselves, because we are waiting for the government to act. We're waiting for, someone else to do the work, but we are actually the ones that should be taking the initiative to educate ourselves, because we want our world to be a better place. We want in 10 years, 20 years, not even just for us, but for the next generation of people that are going to be living on the planet. We need to show them that, okay, you know what? You don't have to throw everything that you have. You can reuse it. So we need to really be conscious really about the actions, the decisions that we're making. I also just want to touch upon the fact that obviously companies are adding, energy and chemicals to national resources, and when making products, and as consumers, we end up purchasing and using these products, and we often use them for a short amount of time, but we really need to get to a place where we are just being conscious as consumers about how we're using our product, we really need to be conscious about it. I didn't even think about it, but since I've been, a part of contributing to this campaign, I've actually started realizing, wow, I have a great responsibility. You and I have a huge responsibility to really think about what we buy, how we buy it, what we do after we buy it. Yes, I hope you guys understood what it was trying to say. And actually, with my community in South Africa, it's amazing the waste that goes on into South Africa. South Africa produces 54,425 tons of waste per day. Just waste per day. It's amazing, right? It's really terrible. And in a year, we produce 108 million tons of waste in 1 year. 108. And only a small fraction of that waste is recycled. Only a small amount of fraction is recycled. And we are the 15th highest rate in the world. So this is according to the World Bank. So it really shows that countries, when it comes to waste management, we are, well, in our country, we are not as good. We're not where we're supposed to be. And I think that with awareness, with education, just you and I sharing, again, share the story, sharing with your friends, you tell them about the goals, the SDG goals. By you and I talking about it, because that's where it starts. It starts with you and I going out there, telling our friends, telling the people that we love, sharing it, because we're always sharing, funny videos on Facebook. We're always sharing our favorite series or whatever, Game of Thrones or whatever it is. But now it's time to actually start sharing information that will benefit you and I, that will benefit the earth that we live on, the planets, that will preserve the planet and will save energy. I mean, we really need to start putting that into account. So yes, don't forget the triple R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. So it basically shows that waste management, it can be a part of sustaining consumption and sustaining production. So you and I are responsible for that. And yes, I hope you guys share this video, and don't forget to hashtag act for SDGs. Yes, and thank you so much. And yes, hopefully my story is going to be on the timeline, brought to you by me, and hashtag our stories. Thank you. Bye. Okay, how do I stop this? Oh my Lord, wait. Am I done? Wait. I need to save this.